So, dear participants, good afternoon to all. So, we are in the fourth day for the afternoon session. We have with us Professor Mamilla Ravi sir from IIT Tirupati. So, on behalf of the management, the department, and on behalf of all the participants, I have great pleasure in welcoming Dr. Mamilla Ravi sir, who is readily accepted our invitation to present an important topic on the pedagogy. That is also on the research area, because some of our participants are guiding scholars, as well as some of our participants are doing the research. So this topic will be more useful for them. So when we contacted Ravi sir, he suggested this topic, and it will be a very wonderful session from Ravi sir. Sir was part of our programs earlier on 3D printing. So this session also will be a very useful session. So let me introduce Mamilla Ravi sir, who is right now Associate Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, IIT Tirupati. Prior to this IIT Tirupati assignment, he was worked as Assistant Professor in IIT Guwahati. He did his BTech from Venkateshwara University Tirupati and MTech and PhD from IIT Kanpur. So Sir has versatile experience in 3 IITs: IIT Kanpur, IIT Guwahati, and right now in IIT Tirupati. His research group focuses on micro nano manufacturing, sustainable manufacturing, precision 3D printing, online monitoring, biomanufacturing, coatings, tribology, and rheology. His lab also involves in development of lab-scale innovation to commercial manufacturing products. Sir has published over 60 internationally reputed journals and 100 international conferences. Sir has the credit of having 6 patents to his credit, and he is the editor of 2 books and more than 10 book chapters. The knowledge transfer of his patent is already transferred to India, leading research laboratories such as CMTI Bangalore. Presently, Sir's lab possesses with various funding from PRC, DST, DRDO, DIRAC, SCRB, IIT Guwahati, IIT Tirupati, some around 4 crore rupees as principal investigator and around 75 crore rupees as a co-investigator. Sir so far guided 5 PhD scholars and 25 MTech scholars and 30 BTech and GATE, at present guiding 10 students for his PhD program, and 4 MS research scholars and 5 MTech students. Sir currently reviewer of more than 10 technical journals from Elsevier, Scopus, Springer, like that. He is in most popular journals. Sir is an editorial member of Mechanical Journal of Micro Manufacturing and a guest editor for International Journal of Precision Technology. Sir as a recipient of prestigious awards, various prestigious awards such as Institution of Engineers Young Engineer Award in the year of 2015 in Production Engineering category, Indian Society for Advancement in Materials and Process Engineering, and a finalist of Indian National Academy of Engineering Young Engineer Award in 2014. Sir and his students received 3 Best Paper Awards in national and international conferences, both in India as well as in abroad. Sir's students got 3 Best Poster Awards in national and international conferences. Apart from academic awards, he also received Institute Blues, that is Outstanding Sports Personality, while he is in IIT Kanpur for his sports and games achievements. Such a wonderful resource person we have today with us for afternoon session. So on behalf of all of you, I welcome Dr. Mamilla Ravi sir for this session. I request sir to proceed with this session. Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. All people join.
Please.
So your people join?
Yes, sir. You can proceed, sir. So some more to join, they will join, sir. Please.
Okay. I mean, just I'm sharing. Give me 2 minutes.
Yes, sir. Read it.
Can you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So thank you, and
Thanks.
so thank you, Professor, for giving me the opportunity to tell in the area of research methodology in pedagogy. Basically, always this non-technical things like generalized things. How you see is completely different from how others see. Okay, it's an open-ended area basically. So pedagogy is an open-ended area, and research methodology in an. So whatever I am presenting, the disclaimer is that how I am seeing it. Okay. So other people from IIT Madras or an IIC Bangalore or any other person, they may see from different perspective. Okay. So whatever I am presenting is my perspective and my understanding towards it. Okay. Hope. So regarding, just to give you the glimpse, as I know that IIT Tirupati is a third generation IITs, and we have multiple departments. Since I'm talking about research, I'm not talking about the first two things that you can see, the engineering and sciences and other things. Regarding the research is concerned, we have most of the things like, I don't know. Yeah. Can you able to see? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Fine, thank you. So we have engineering 5 divisions and sciences 4 divisions. Apart from it, we are opening another 2 divisions like material science and engineering and school of design. So apart from it, the Center for Precision Agriculture and Food Processing is the one that we are going to start. I just show you the some of the glimpse what we are doing, the research. I mean to say local area research and other things. There is a multiple varieties of research that you can perform. Okay, so how not only about the teaching, not only about research, how you can club both the things for the betterment of the student and other things also I will just give you the glimpse. The Center for Precision Agriculture and Food Processing is one of the center where we have 2 divisions. One is precision agriculture. As you know, that Tirupati is situated in the southern part of Andhra Pradesh, which comes under the region of Rayalaseema. So where we have abundant amount of water is not at all available. Okay, so in that circumstances, how we can utilize the existing water. This year is it's fine. We can say abundant water is there because of a lot of floods and other things. But normally we don't have abundant amount of water. That is the one thing how to utilize, like designing the drip irrigation, designing other irrigation things is one thing. Second is how to identify the NPK levels. So I don't know whether how many of you are aware. Recently, 1 week back, if you see IIT Kanpur, from where I graduated, they have developed the soil sensor. So just for 50 rupees, okay, there will be a sensor that is given. Just you focus it and you connect to the Bluetooth to your mobile. it will tell what are the nutrients are available in the soil. Similar things. So it's similar things we also work, where we also understand what is the NPK levels. Not only that, so it is very easy for you to capture from the large spectrum. For example, so the sensors like vision sensing systems, if you can put into the drones, so drones can fly and how far they can capture the nutrients levels of particular soil. For example, if a farmer has 10, 10 acres of land, so which acre, for example, you have 10 sectors, 10 acres means 10 sectors. So which is good for rice, which is good for groundnut, which is good for cotton. So how we can identify all those things, that is the one. So where we try to work the coating technologies for sensing. So in particularly my research group. Second thing, food processing. So the food processing is all about, so we have multiple things are going on. So one of the things food processing is packing. So biodegradable packing and other things. And most importantly for the local is that we have abundant amount of guava, banana, mango and other things. These are in and around of Tirupati we have abundantly. So how we can convert into a powder without losing the nutrients and other things. That is what. So anybody can convert into the powder. It's not a big deal, but only the big deal is that how you can retain the nutrients. Because if you see, whenever you go to the travel, for example, you are traveling from Chennai to your hometown. For example, now Pongal is coming, so all will flock to the villages. So whenever you're traveling in a bus stand or a railway station, whenever you go, the most important thing that you have to notice is whenever you purchase a bottle. So water bottle, I'm talking about a water bottle. Again, disclaimer is that I'm not branding any company or I'm not advertising for any company. So for your betterment only I'm saying, because I came to know 3 years back. So when I spoke to one of the vendor, or I mean to say one of the company owner of a water, so he says water purification is not a big problem. They can purify any in nowadays in villages also you have water purification plants and other things. But adding minerals is a big chunk of challenge which incur additional amount. That's why I sincerely advise to the people who can purchase a bottle where it is written with added minerals. Some of the companies is Bisleri. You just see whenever you take a Bisleri bottle, you just see purified water with added minerals. They will highlight that. Kinley, they will highlight that, because there you will get your minerals. You can replenish your minerals into your body. So that is most important. So why vendor is not interested to sell that is because their profit levels will be very less. I mean to say that if a purified water, you see some of the things where only purified water is there they will have a lot of margin. So that's why they will. So you should because it is your health. I mean to say, so you should insist, or you should look forward for the water where added minerals are there. Why you require added minerals? That is a big science. So you require a lot of vitamins, minerals and other things. As a function of that, to have a proper functionality of your body, you require many minerals. Okay, whenever your RO system is there, reverse osmosis system is there, it will take away all the minerals. So whatever you get in the purified water, which is not good, but whatever we are drinking at home in the purified system is without minerals. At least whenever you purchase, this is my sincere request to you, that you try to replenish with added minerals. I'm not telling about any brand or any company. So check those things and you purchase it. That means that why I'm insisting here is food processing. Whenever I talk about food processing, whenever I convert mango to a mango powder, during this course of technologies are many multiple technologies are there. So whatever the technology that you should adopt should replenish or it should not reduce the existing minerals and proteins and vitamins, whatever. So. Okay. So that is what our ambition is all about in food processing. Okay. We may convert into some of the things. I mean to say, we may convert into some of the things like liquids and other things. That is straightforward case where you don't find much losses of vitamins and minerals and other things. But in case of powder, there is a small because of temperature involvement and other things. So that is what the one of the areas that we work. The fourth, TIH, Technology Incubation Hub on Precision Technologies and Positioning. So where IIT Tirupati recently received 100 to 120 crores on TIH. So this is DST1. So precision technologies and positioning, which is about, like, for example, simple way to explain you is GPS system in a precise way. So what we call it as a quantum clocks. So what I mean to say is that, for example, tsunami is touching the land. I mean to say that it started in Bay of Bengal and it is going to hit, for example, in a city which is on the border. So how exactly? So you can monitor it, and at the same time when it's, so if you know all the statistics and all the timings, so that you can save the people. So how precisely you can control those? I mean to say, how you can precisely monitor and tell the people accordingly, so that you can evacuate the people and other things. So this is one of the area where my particular group works into precision manufacturing, or I mean to say ultra precision manufacturing, like lens manufacturing, because any systems, any require a lot of lenses. The lenses require a lot of surface finish, because otherwise the image qualities will not be good. Okay, that is one. The fifth one is CAMOST, Center for Atomic Molecular Optical Sciences and Technology, where this is exclusively into the area of optics, and it is, so in optics, normally what I work is two areas. One is optical metrology, like 3D surfaces and its morphological structures and metallurgical structures and other things. And moreover, from the manufacturing side, we also work into the area of lasers. So laser micro machining, laser micro cladding, blah, blah. So many things we work. So exclusively into the lasers. Oh, sorry. So these are the areas that I work, which I am not going to discuss about. The areas that I work is micro machining and nano finishing group, sustainable manufacturing group, bio nanomaterials and manufacturing group, additive manufacturing, and smart manufacturing. These are the 5 groups. Apart from it, there are another 1 or 2 groups which recently started, which we have not mastered much. So I'm not going to talk about those things. So coming to the pedagogy, so many people may be teachers. So the pedagogy is one of the nowadays big buzzword which is going on, how to teach in a better way because of online classes. And I'm seeing whenever my daughter is sitting in the computer, and if I have the privilege, or if I have the free time, normally just I watch how the teachers is, life is a learning process. So how the teachers are teaching for a second class or a third class student. So most importantly, they require a lot of patience compared to us. They are more patient enough, and mostly ladies will be there for teaching them. So it goes on. So better pedagogy practices. The one of the things that I normally understand is, the first and foremost is, I just want to club the research as well as pedagogy. So how you can give them the recipe. So normally, for example, if you want to look at this research, the main recipe is critical thinking. So many people will be thinking that, oh, this guy is sitting at IIT and he can tell a lot of stories. But the most important is you should have a good thinking ability. And I'm sure that there are many faculties in Tamil Nadu or Andhra or Karnataka, Kerala especially. So those people who are sitting in a private engineering college also nowadays publishing enormously in a SCI journals. I'm not talking about non-SCI or something, because I'm there in some of the colleges faculty selections. I saw many people comes from Tamil Nadu. I was very happy that people are moving with good profiles. I definitely welcome because better candidates should be given priority definitely. So yeah, I saw one faculty. I don't want to name the faculty name or university name or anything. So this particular year, he has just posted on a Facebook. So 2021 was a very good year for me, which gave me like 21, I mean to say, sorry, 12 publications with an average impact factor of more than 4. And he has posted all the screenshots of the first top page, title and journal name and other things. So what I mean to say is that sitting at a private engineering college, if a person can publish 12 publications in a SCI index journals with an average impact factor of 4, that means that he has mastered almost all yes. Okay, so he has mastered, it seems, that how to publish and other things. So whenever you talk about average impact factor or 4 and above, so that means that it's a very good. What I mean to say from this particular junction of the point is that you should have a right thought process, right aims and objectives, which can be a set of points. Second set of points is what is your available facilities. That is another set. So, and you have to relate. So in childhood, no, normally childhood means not that LKG, UKG or something. Whenever you comes to 10th class or something, you have sets and relations. You should have a sets of points here that your aims and objectives is a big set of things. And the second set of the things is what the facilities available. So you need to relate those things and which can give the output and other things. That is what. So if you can master it, that's all. So what do you think that Dr. C.V. Raman has a very, very good research facilities? No, it is not that, but he got Nobel Prize. Why I'm saying is that one should not discourage from the point of publishing the papers or doing a research with very less facilities or something. Okay, with the facilities, what you can do is what you have to master, from where you have to critical thinking about that and doing approximately the good literature survey in that angle will be a good aspect. That is what I mean to say. So this critical thinking, whenever it comes to the pedagogy, how you need to teach. So pedagogy should be in some innovative way. Students should get interest and start with some history. I mean to say is that whenever you start telling the story, you see the students in the class, they will be very attentive. So whenever you teach the subject, they may not get that much interest or something sometimes, and not all the time. So what you try to do is how a particular process is having a connection with the history, or how this is invented, or any story can you connect, or any natural phenomena can you connect. So since I am from advanced manufacturing, I just give you some glimpse of the natural phenomena, which is called how might be the researchers might have invented that particular process. This is hypothetical things that you can see. For example, water jet machining or advanced, I mean to say one of the advanced machining processes is using, you can see water jet machining or advanced water jet machining. I mean to say abrasive water jet machining and other things. So in that circumstances, what you can see here is that how this might have been. See, if you directly start abrasive water jet machining or something, people may not understand much, or they may not get the much glimpse of it. So what thing is that if you say that take a tap, for example, or you have a borewell or anything that you have in the villages, or tap, for example, nowadays every home has a tap now. So you just switch on the tap. If you see After 1 year or 2 years, there will be a big crater might have formed beneath the tap. I mean to say where the water jet is going to impinge when your pot is not there. For example, if your pot is there, then it will chill. So whenever you are changing the pot, so you can see in the movies, no, where Dhanush movie and other movies, he used to quarrel with the ladies where they put the pot and the other. So similarly that, okay. So whenever you see that jet water is having less denser than the concrete or whatever the thing at the bottom, but in a due course of time, you see a lot of craters will form. How the craters will form? This is because of the kinetic energy of the water, which impinges and removes particle by particle or something. Okay, that makes, I mean to say that kinetic energy of the water, which is the culprit, I can say, or the mechanism to remove the material. So this basic fundamental. For example, if there is a water contamination is there, so always the water will not be good. No, sometimes you will get a red water. So because some leakage has happened where the mud can include with respect to the water. So in that circumstances, what you will get? You will get some particles also, mud particles along with the water. So then orange colored water will come. So in that circumstances, the material removal or the concrete damage will be much, much higher because your particles also impinging along with the kinetic energy of the water. So that's where that abrasive jet machining, or I mean to say abrasive water jet machining or water jet machining is came into existence. Okay, so if you can teach them this type of practical implications or which are natural phenomena, if you connect with respect to the teaching, people will understand, oh yeah, so then these people will get some of the good feel. From there onwards, you can carry on. So first impression is the best impression. So you have to impress upon the students to teach them with the natural phenomena or the history or something. So next you see the history. So there was brothers, I don't know how many of you are from mechanical and how many of you are know the EDM process. So hope I understand that you know the EDM process. Okay, so this is one of the basic advanced machining process. So what I mean to say is that there was brothers called Lagrange brothers in USSR, Russia. So in Russia, so whenever they had encountered this type of phenomena, where you also encounter this type of phenomena, where you can have a switch. After some time, switch is not going to work. So what you do, whenever you remove the switch from the socket, you will see the black soot and black soot formation and other things. Okay, so this will hamper, there will be a black soot and other things. Okay, so normally you will also see and I will also see, and okay, it's gone, then we change it and we will replace it normally. So but Lagrange brothers, what they found is that why it has happened. Okay, so you should always think about three things: what, why, and how. If you can understand these things, it will be a good research. What I mean to say here is they have observed it, why it has happened. So later they found that there are two terminals. One is negative terminal. Obviously in electrical you have positive terminal. So you are switching on, switching off. It is working when the loop is connected and other things. When there was a small gap where the air entraps, the problem is that it will accept the electric, and sometimes no, this will break. The wires sometimes no, there will be a spark and they will break. So as the break increases, what will happen? That the distance between two wires will increase. I mean to say negative polarity and positive polarity. I mean to say negative terminal and positive terminal will increase. So what do? You just put your finger very high and press it. So if it is not working, you will hit it sometimes. So whenever it connects, the current will flow and you will get the fan or light. But always it won't happen. So what will happen whenever these terminals both connect, comes to nearby and go back, nearby, go back, because you are pressing it. So what will happen? There will be a spark takes place, and so this leads to one of the technology called EDM, electrical discharge machining. In olden days, they used to call it as a spark machining. So in the spark machining, what is happening? You have a negative terminal and you have a positive terminal. So in negative terminal and positive terminal, what happens? You will have a dielectric fluid. Normally in this switch case, it is air as a dielectric medium. Here you can go for a deionized water or kerosene or any type of thing. So when electrons will emit from this blue one, which is negative terminal, which comes and hits the dielectric fluid, forms, for example, deionized water, you will get lot of electrons will be generated, and millions of electrons that are generated in the dielectric fluid comes and hits the positive terminal, because part, negative things will always attract towards positive. So the kinetic energy of this will convert into thermal energy, and there will be a material removal will takes place. That is was the innovation, and that was the history. So what I want to tell you is that if you can explain them the history like this, so the pedagogically, so how do you explain this? When can you explain this? When can you explain this is that you should have read some of the innovations, how these innovations are came into existence and other things. Okay. So for example, simple example, practical example, whenever you see, whenever you are kid or when we are kids, normally what will happen? So you take a lens, basically the lens you take and you try to uh, put onto your skin sometimes. No, you put your skin, you will pinch off the heat, you'll pinch at the same time you try to put some paper or tissue paper or something, and you put a lens, and the radiation that is coming from the sun will be pointed, I mean to say concentrated on a particular location. So in that circumstance, what will happen? There will be a burn will take place. So what you are doing, you are concentrating the radiation that is coming from the sun by using a lens to concentrate at a point. So the area of the heat that you are concentrating onto a point. Okay, so that is leads to the innovation of laser beam machining or laser beam micro machining, where you have a laser source, gun is there, and the laser continuously lasers are coming, and you have a lens which can be used to concentrate onto the point, and you can ablate the materials. So in the sun case, what is the thing? You can ablate only onto the skin or paper, but in case of laser, where you can control the amount of laser power, you can concentrate onto a point be which can do the melting and evaporation. Okay. So now I think, okay, so there are so many innovations. For example, as I was saying that sitting at a private engineering college, you should not feel, oh, we don't have that or something. There is no, always, if you see the history of uh, Sir C.V. Raman or something, but for example, if you check Sir C.V. Raman, so we don't have any things like be- best facilities or something. Okay, in that circumstances, what I mean to say, this is an inspiring story that when he was traveling, you all know, when he was traveling abroad, so he saw that colors in the sea and other things. Okay, so it's the motivational thing about the bottom line of the story is that you need a good recipe in your brain, or you should have a critical thinking that can help you towards doing a good research. Okay, so I'm just going to give you some of the glimpse about introduction to research, importance of research, and critical success factors for the research. And most importantly, I'm getting some sound, I don't know from where. Can you check, organizers? Hello, hello, am I audible? Yeah, organizers, can you mute the person because it's giving a lot of sound? I cannot mute actually. Anyway, it's okay. Thank you. So importance of the research, since many of you are teachers, so the first question that I would like to ask you is that research is important or teaching is important? Whenever you are clubbing the research with respect to the pedagogy, is always a compromise, whether research is important or teaching is important. Whenever people will appear for an IIT interviews and other places, people will ask most of the times, these premier institutions are research oriented institutions and teaching oriented institutions. So some of the common questions the people may ask is whether the research is important or teaching is important. Okay. So the answer, normally what is the answer is that you have to do both basically. So what is the advantage if you are alone teaching? What is the advantage if you do research and teaching? So what is the advantage? For example, if you are a teacher, obviously you are a good teacher. There is no second thought about it. Whatever the content is there in the textbook, you will definitely deliver it. So whenever you try to do research in that area, and if you are a teacher, the additional advantage is that you can also include the latest developments that is going on in that area. For example, if you are teaching some X subject, okay, for example, you are teaching manufacturing. So in manufacturing, if you are teaching merchant circle or something, so I mean, okay, so what I mean to say is that whenever you are teaching, you can tell some of the advancements which are going on whenever you try to do machining of retail material, or whenever you are trying to do machining of this. So your merchant circle, for example, if you are doing a grinding operation or something, what you can say is that you will have a negative rectangle, obviously, in grinding process. So how you can convert the positive rectangle oriented to other negative rectangle oriented and other things. So what I mean to say is that you can give some extra things which are outside the book. I mean to say outside the conventional book that you have, so that the people will understand more. You can say, you can club some of the research oriented things and tell, so that means that your students will be much better knowledgeable compared to your other institute students. Okay, for example, you are from this particular university, okay, whatever the university, X university, and there are Y university. So X university will teach not only about the bookish, if you also teach some extension of the research, then what you can say, the university X students has a better placement capabilities compared to other people. That should be your motto. Okay. So teaching inbuilt with research is what you need to focus, where you are anyhow you are teaching 80% or something, 70% or something. So you need to do inbuilt some of the research, or at least you go through some of the research papers in that area and tell them. So students also loves, because nowadays students, I mean to say, they are very fond of YouTube and other things, common things they can also learn from YouTube and other things. So if you are start teaching these extra things, people will love in terms of knowledge that you are providing and other things. Okay. So for example, importance of research, you just see two countries. The first country is Japan. So Japan is one of the developed nations, as you know. I need not to tell that Japan is a developed nation. Okay, it is a well-developed nation because if you see their technology, for example, bullet train technology or any other technologies, like for example, I visited Kyoto. So I visited a lot of universities, definitely in Japan. So just why I am saying is that Kyoto is one of the world capital city of Japan. So it's a temple city also. There is one company called Shimazu. Shimazu is one of the world leaders in developing analytical tools. I mean to say analytical equipment. For example, liquid chromatography, gas chromatography. So these type of analytical solutions. So they are one of the world leaders. Okay. So I saw their technologies are very, very high. And only thing I request, if somebody going to Japan, you should please have a lot of money in the jib, because it is a very expensive country. Okay. So normally why I'm saying is that if your country's research and development is very good, that means that you can become one of the developed nations. For example, simple example. So Israel is the second country. So Israel is very, very small country compared to the geography of India. It is very, very small country, but still it is one of the developed nations, I can say. Why I'm saying is sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, because their necessity is that they have lot of problems with their neighbors. So automatically their defense sector is well versed with advanced technologies. So that is one thing. Second thing, you forget about defense. Second thing, we India, we have a lot of land compared to the Israel, but still we are in not a position to supply the fruits and vegetables. But being a small nation geographically, Israel is having abundant amount of fruits and vegetables and they are supplying across the globe. How is it possible? It is possible if you can adopt the latest technologies in the precision agriculture. That is what. That's why I was telling at the start that Christian agriculture, Center for Christian Agriculture and Food Processing. So the vertical farming is there. Many hydroponics is there. So many things are there. Okay. So what I mean to say is that we should have the motto to make sure that the research has to be taken care in a best way. Okay. So normally research varies from search normally. Anyhow, you all know what is research and other things. Research is defined as a careful consideration of the study of regarding a particular concern and a problem using scientific methodology. So you have a systematic methodology, like first you do the literature survey, then you find literature gaps, then you find out of literature gaps some of the aims and objectives. Then you try to execute through a scientific methodology. You will get the inputs and outputs. Obviously, you will try to plot. You will get a paper publication. So this is one of the standard procedures. But most of the time, as you go to the doctor also, problem clearly stated is halfway it is solved and other things. Okay, if you can understand the problem that is given by your supervisor or anybody, it is halfway solved. So because you know the for example, I mean to say that, for example, the temple is somewhere, you know the location. So automatically, if you know perfectly the location, you can identify the path, how to go from this street I want to go or this street I want to go. If so, the only thing is that you should have that clarity in understanding the problem. If you can understand the problem, you can identify. So normally, when the problem can be researchable, okay. So multiple problems are there. Even you know, no. Recently, our government has released one movie, small movie. I was watching that movie. That is on the life history of Sir Ramanujan ji. You know, no, Srinivasa Ramanujan sir. So it's on his life history and other things. It was taken. So there are, as per, because I am not from mathematics, so whatever I'm saying is based on whenever I spoke to my friends in mathematics. Lot of things that he has written, is still they are trying to solve it in a scientific methodology. That means that how much intelligent. So one of the things I would like to say is that when a problem can be researchable, a problem is a situation or a condition that is difficult to resolve. Okay, when there are no known answers or solutions. Okay, so when there is no known solutions are there, so you can do research. When there is a possible solutions, however, the effectiveness of which is not known. For example, already it is like optimization technologies. For example, somebody has done it. So now, simple, some of the things in computer science, people try to write algorithms to decrease the time. Okay, compiling time or so processing time. So whenever I speak with some of my colleagues who works in computer science, they all write parallel coding technologies, that technologies this technology, lot of technologies are there. What they will try to do is, so they will say, these people who are in US, they can do this particular problem in half an hour. Their algorithm, we are creating some algorithm which can do 20 minutes. So you can increase the effectiveness of that. This is one way. So you can optimize that. When there is answers or solutions in a possible way, which may not be contradict. Okay, so if there are some contradicting results or something, so you can take up and you can resolve it. There are several possible and ways normally when the existence of a phenomena requires some solution. For example, there are some practical problems are there which require some solutions. These are the type of things that one can do the research. So the research, there are two types of research basically, for fundamentally for a pedagogical people to understand. One is pure and basic fundamental research. Second is applied research. Fundamental research means just in nowadays people talk about fundamental research means TRL level 1, 2, 3 or 4. TRL means technology readiness level. Okay, when it reaches to 10, it means that your product is ready. So pure and basic research comes in the area of 1, 2, 3 or 4. So where fundamental research is primary concern or primary importance will be given in IITs and other premier institutions. So where we try to do our fundamental research to make it, and then what we try to do is we try to give to the industries. See, in between industries, we have another agencies that is called CSIR laboratories and other things. What they try to do is they work with us and they will try to convert this particular basic research into a product oriented research, and then they will give to the industry. So the second one is applied research, where this TRLS level will go from 5 to 8 or something. Okay, so applied research is that once you give the fundamental research to the person like CSIR lab, they will convert into a one of the product, laboratory scale product. So laboratory scale product doesn't mean that it is a commercially sellable product. So later on, you have another version of things where you need to optimize all the things before you launch into the market. That is called TRL level 8 to 10 or 9 to 10. Once it reaches to TRL level 9, that is technology readiness level 10. So now it is ready for sale into the market. So what I mean to say is that we try to work at basic research and we try to collaborate with industries which are interested to convert our basic research into a product, and then it can be saleable. So where we need to improve the research. Okay, so this one has to understand basic research. Now, normally basic research will result in high impact journals. Basically, for example, if you see Nature Medicine or Nature Embryology, or if you take the impact factor of these journals will impact factor will be like 30 plus. Okay, so this basic research will have a very, very good fundamental things and fundamental science and scientific methodology to resolve these issues. And for that purpose, what we try to do is the fundamental research, and this fundamental research, whenever you try to do, you get with a good impact factor journals, or your paper will be published in big journals. Okay, time and situational basis. For example, if you are another variety of research, if you want to publish in a nowadays, if you see, no, so if you want to publish a good journal, even though you don't work into the some areas, so this is called time and situational based research. So those people who want to work, see, many of you, as for my understanding from the professor, so I understand that you people want to do research. So if you have that intention and if you can do good literature survey and other things, and time and situational based research is one of the up for grab. So it is up for a grab for you is because COVID, for example. Okay, you see here, COVID related research if you can do. Many people have got the projects, many people have got published all these papers within a month sometimes. So those people who has published in 2020, yeah, their papers are accepted in couple of months, very fast. If you, this is what is that you have to assess the time, you have to assess the situation, you catch the situation, and you use the situation accordingly. Okay, so in that circumstances also you will get a very good journals. Okay. So another variety is long-term relation research. If at all you are thinking about, so just observe the nature. So this is called nature inspired research. You just inspire by looking at the nature, and you can propose the research oriented things. For example, if you see here shark and the fins and other things that are there in a fish, so you just go and see the textures, and these textures if you can replicate, or similar textures if you can replicate, you can use this type of textures in submarines. The external portion of the submarines requires this because it is having good properties, or I mean to say correct surface characteristics and other things. For example, if you see here how the ants will make the, so as you can see here the buildings, whenever you see the buildings, Burj Khalifa or anything, so as it goes up automatically it will narrow down. Okay, same thing is inspired from the bushes. Some of the things are inspired from lizard, some of the things, you know, one of the example when I was recently hearing that that in night time whenever you're driving there is some splashing colors, so those are inspired from cat and dog eyes, animals eyes. Whenever you see in the night times, so the eyes of the cat, eyes of the dogs will be glowing. Okay, these are the technologies that have inspired to the scientist, and that technologies are developed so that no, this will glow in night times whenever you are driving, so that it will be safe to drive. So nature inspired humans like robots and other things. Nowadays people are, and one of the areas that we were working is how to prepare the skin. Okay, so flexible skin with flexible electronics, it's very difficult sometimes, and you can make it. Okay, so more beautiful. So nowadays many people are working on robots. So I am not expert in mechatronics or electronics or something. So what I can do is, as a mechanical engineer with a polymers background, what we can do is we can make the, this is a robot basically. This is robot, you can make very good skin with a lot of some of the sensors. We can collaborate with the sensing department and we can do it. So what I was talking about at the early stages of my presentation is to, your ambitions will be different. For example, all people may not want to publish the papers. Some people want to open their startup companies and other things. Okay, so that is you can do by local relevance research. For example, we are, I say we are in Rayalaseema region where we have Mossambi, guava are abundantly available, mango and other things. So how do you convert this? For example, we have in Chittoor district, I mean to say Tirupati, Chittoor district, we have abundant amount of tomatoes. How you can convert the tomato to into tomato ketchup, so that no, it will be good. So these are the local relevance technologies that you can do research, and you can start your companies. So this is another way of doing research. So another, I can see, for example, some people want to become rich by doing research. Okay, so this is another understanding of research. If you can convert copper to copper nanoparticles or copper microparticles, you can become rich. Okay, so these copper nanoparticles and other things will have antimicrobial effect. So what is the kg of copper? Normally you may get less than 1,000 rupees. But if you want copper nanoparticles 20 grams or 30 grams, it will be more than 10,000 rupees. Only thing is that you should have a technology that can convert from copper to copper nanoparticles. Then you can become rich. Okay, so one of the technologies that we try to do is biomicromachining technology, where we also generate copper nanoparticles. Okay, so what are the critical factors for research to start? For example, input parameters, output responses, and other things. Most of the time, what I mean to say is that most of the time, since you people want to do pedagogy has I taught you in the early stages, so that the history and other thing. Most of the researchers in India, in particularly some of the journals where I am handling, so there are two varieties of people mostly. Abundantly, people are there like this. So they want to swim on the periphery. Somebody has done on copper, I will do on brass. Somebody has done on brass, I will do on stainless steel. So like that, just they want to swim on it. But this is may not be sufficient as the world progresses. What you require is this. Okay, go to the deepest of the sea and find what is there here. So this is what one has to or one must do, understand. Okay, so you have to go deep and understand them. Okay. So now there are multiple people who do the research in the area of qualitative research, quantitative research, and mixed both. Okay. So there are terms called follower and pioneer. I will come, these are all interlinked. Whenever you try to do the qualitative research, those things which are not done by others, then you can call it yourself as a pioneer in that area. So what these pioneers will do is, when they do research, after some time, they will leave that area and go and search of hunt of the new research. So what the other people will do, they pick up that area and try to do lot of work. So this is called followers. So try to be in a pioneer, and all the people cannot be pioneers in all the areas. You should have some of the areas where you are a pioneer, and other areas you may be obviously the follower and other things. So for that, what you require is, you should have known to you what are your strengths. For example, you can be a good hardworking person. So what you can do is, you can choose as a experimental facilities and other things, and experimentation you can do. So if you are good at mathematics and physics and other things, coding and other things, so you can choose the strengths as modeling or simulations or something. So according to that, you know your strength and assess yourself and try to do good qualitative research. Quantitative research means you just add on the numbers. For example, that pioneer has done something and you pick up that area and do lot of things. Okay, so mixed, most of the times people will get mixed. So some of the things will be qualitative, slightly 10 to 20%, remaining all will be quantitative in this paper. Okay, this type of things are there. Okay, societal impact research, how do you do research impact on a common man? In my view, this is all what I was telling you, no? Whenever I talk about the research or anything, that's what I'm talking is my views only. In your research, if you're going to help the poorest of this particular country, I mean to say that whatever the research, if you are impacting onto the poor and this poor person who is sitting in a village, for example, a person who is sitting in a village in Tamil Nadu, if your research is going to help him, or if you put your hand on your heart and you say that this particular research will definitely help that poor person who is sitting in a very farthest village of Tamil Nadu, then if you can say or you can convince yourself, because you are the genuine person who can assess the research, that means that you are moving in the right direction. Before you start also, what is its implications and other things you might have thought of. If you think that this is going to help, that means that your direction of choosing the research is very good. No. Some people think, okay, that guy is publishing 10 papers, I have to publish at least 7 or 8. So it doesn't matter. whatever, whether it is helpful to the poor person or whether it is not helpful to the poor person. Nowadays, people are not thinking in the direction. Okay. So my sincere urge, request, or suggestion, whatever you can think in the direction, try to do some research, a part of your research group for the societal benefit. So some of the, see, you should divide your research areas. I mean to say, within your domain, some things you should do for society, some things you do for publications, some things you do for patents and commercialization and other things. So you should have this type of segregations or partitions. One of the areas, just I would like to show how we try to do help the poor people of this country. So the first we started in 2012 about coating onto the implants, for example, titanium implants. These titanium implants are non-biodegradable. However, if you are putting directly titanium implant, there is a problem. Okay. So what is the problem? The problem is that it is not detected by the microorganisms which are there in the body or the body fluids and other things. For which what do you require? Artificial bone material has to be coated on it so that the muscle or the body fluids that is flowing, since the chemical composition or elemental composition of the bone is similar to your artificial bone material that is coated on the surface, so it will recognize. So that what will happen? Mineral exchange and protein exchange will take place. Okay. So initially that was our indication. What is our motto? Our motto is, instead of putting a stainless steel rod, which can create, what is the basic problem whenever there is a bone fracture? So let me explain you. When there is a bone fracture, the people in India, normally people will go for stainless steel rods and stainless steel implants. So what it will do, you at some point of time, it will reach Fe plus ions and it causes a lot of health issues. So how to overcome? The overcome is either you go to the titanium implants. The second is the people went to the titanium implants. Titanium is bio-inert material, so they won't cause neither positive nor negative. It will do zero. But in a long term, it is also having a lot of problems. Okay. So to overcome that, what the people do? See, these are all a continuous study, continuous evolving, the latest research. So to overcome that, when I took up this challenge, at the time, people were talking about how to improve the performance of the titanium implants. So one of the technology is coating on top of it. So we try to do coating. So when we try to do the coating, what will happen? These foreign body problems will be resolved because your coating material is artificial bone material. So when your coating material is artificial bone material, where chemical composition is similar to your bone, I mean to say Ca10 PO4 whole per 6 OH twice, okay, calcium and phosphate. So coating is good, but the problem was that it is not adhering properly because one side it is a ceramic, on another side it is a metal. So what we try to do is we try to do the texturing, then we try to do the coating. So when you try to do the coating, then we have to understand that whether the body is accepting or not, for which you need to do the in vitro test and in vivo test. These are all done because this is not part of this one. That's why I'm not telling all the intricate details of this one. So this now the implant coatings are ready for implantation. Growth of the organisms, growth of the cells, and whether the cells are growing, whether the cells are properly growing, or this is also creating some nuisance like any other foreign particles, foreign bodies are growing or something. These are all the analysis that we have done. So everything is done, and almost all 6 to 7 publications were published. Everything is done. So what is the drawback of this technology? The drawback of this technology is a patient who got an accident, who enters into the hospital, has to undergo operation. The operation cost is 1 lakh rupee, for example. So operation theater cost, that, these and other things. After 1 year or 2 years, when the bone healing is, everything is taken place, that bone plate and screws has to be removed. Okay. So otherwise, these are all not degradable materials. These are all not, this, they won't degrade inside. So that is called secondary operation. The patient has to undergo a secondary operation. Normally, secondary operation cost will be approximately 60% of your original. So that means that the total amount a poor person is spending on this particular thing is 1.6 lakhs. Initial operation about 1 lakh, secondary operation is about 60,000 rupees. So to overcome that, we came up with some of the, because you know that composites are equally strength materials compared to the metals and alloys. So we came up with, anyhow, we have this artificial bone materials, that is C8N4 whole power 6 OH twice. So we blended with some of the technologies that we have, that is called stereo PLA. So this can be done by two ways. One is generating the monomer and doing in situ polymerization. The second is getting a commercial biodegradable PLA and purifying it by removing the metal oxides. Once you do this and you put your hydroxyapatite or bioglass or nanobioglass, whatever the artificial bone materials, and you can make all these plates, screws, pins, Steinman pins, and other things. Now, if you impart this to the body, you don't require secondary operation because this will degrade inside. Polylactic acid will degrade by hydrolytic degradation, and it comes to lactic acid and it will degrade. So anyhow, you have hydroxyapatite which can join with the bone because the chemical composition is approximately same. So what is the help that you have done to a poor person? The poor person is secondary operation you can don't have. That means that you are helping a poor person from 1.6 lakhs to his expenditure will be 1 lakh. Now you analyze how much will be the effective amount in a mechanical terms. You think the production time and non-production time, or what is the, so to get the operation, where the amount will be go, the amount is surgeon's amount, operation theater cost. Before operation, he will be tested all like sugars, ECG, that, and most importantly, after the operation, you have to stay in the hospital for almost all 3 days or 4 days or 5 days. Before 2 days, operation before and after, assume that you are staying for another 3 days. So totally you are staying for 5 days. So these are all called non, which don't come under. So what will be the price of this implant? If this implant may not be cost you more than 20,000 or something. So effectively, if you see, the most of the amount goes in operation theater cost, rehabilitation time, and some of the diagnosing things. 50% of the amount goes there. So if you can understand all these things, what we came up with is another technology called thermosensitive injectable magnetic scaffold for bone tissue engineering. This is, disclaimer for this is applicable for only hairline fractures and low load applications. What you can do is, you don't require any operation theater or something, and partially you require. So only thing is that you need to inject, this is a liquid basically, and you, once it at room temperature of 25 degrees, it is thermosensitive one. So at room temperature, it is 25 degrees. When it reaches to the 37 degrees of your body, it will become a porous solid. So what is the research here is, tribological aspects and rheological aspect is most critical here. So that is the research which I cannot disclose all the things. So once you inject all these things, it will flow to the nook and corner of the fracture site, and because of the 37 degrees, it will become a porous solid. So what will happen? Bone is natrotomy and it can grow from both sides and it will form. So you don't require any rehabilitation and other things. You come in the morning, you leave in the afternoon. So indirectly, your operation theater cost, most of the cost, surgeon cost, you need a surgeon here, obvious, but surgeon cost may be decreased, and you don't require any diagnosis like ECG, that and other things. Effectively, you can save 60% to 70% of the amount. Okay, so indirectly, what I mean to say is that if you see in the first case, a patient has to put 1.6 lakhs. In the second case, you have reduced that secondary operation, so 60,000 is reduced, so 1 lakh. Here, we can reduce another 60,000 or 70,000, so effectively 30,000. So what I mean to say is that whenever you put your hand on your heart and says that this is going to help the poorest to the poorest of this country, that means that you are in right direction and you are a good human also. This is the fundamentally one of the good researches that anybody can try out. So we also do some of the paper to the patents to the product technology. We not only, I was saying that we not only do about publications, we do patents, and we also do the some of the product technology. These are the product technologies which are solely developed at IIT Tirupati, and if you have coming this side, you can visit us, our laboratory. We do produce the commercial scale machines, which are HMI division, like human machine interface type of things, where it can do lot of micro nano manufacturing things. Okay. So this is all about the research. We also gave this particular technology to some of the leading researchers, laboratories and other things. Okay. So it's already, yeah, I have taken 1 hour, 15 minutes, I think. Okay. So NPTEL course, NPTEL now IIT Madras is hosting my courses, course number 1 and 2. So introduction to machining and machining fluid, introduction to abrasive machining and finishing process, polymer assisted abrasive finishing process and other things. So 1 and 2 will be hosted this semester. It is now open. So those people who are interested, they can register for it. And the third one will be in the August to November. Okay. So I'm also, so some of the perspectives I was telling as a guest editor, as a editorial board member, what type of problems we try to address and which type of papers we receive and other things. So for example, if I take up International Journal of Christian Technology, I am a guest editor. So at the same time, IMECI, Journal of Micro Manufacturing, I'm a editorial board member. We see a lot of papers which are coming up, and so what I request you is that you try to increase your content of discussion. Results, anyhow, you have a graphs and other things, but what is the science behind it? That is where I request all the people to concentrate on other things. Okay. So I am very thankful to all the funding agencies starting from IIT Guwahati in 2012, about 5 lakhs startup grant. Bob Atomic Research Center, BRNS project about 23. Then I got a big project about 1 crore from DST. Whatever the machine that you have seen is from DST, and DRDL about 75. Then DIT, which is called, now it is called MIT, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, about 60 crores. Then Imprint about 6 crores, 3 plus 3, 3 with IIT Kanpur and 3 with SC Bangalore. Then IIT Tirupati about 22.5, SCRB about 40, BIRAC about SCRB about 45, and BIRAC about 40.8. And recently, as I said, we have received a TAH, that is Technology Incubation Hub, about 100 to 120 crores. This is the funding. Currently, we are looking for sincere and hardworking students to join. I'm also thankful to each and every member of my research group, starting from summer intern to postdoctoral. Summer intern, BTech, MTech, MS, PhD, postdoc, and other things. So I am just a front face. As I said, no, you should have a multiple groups. Some groups should do product development. Some groups should do basic research. Some groups should do applied research. Some groups should do a societal oriented research, because you are here to help the society. So it is possible because of all the support that I am getting by God grace from all the students. Thank you, one and all. And if you have any suggestions, queries, I am ready to take up. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yes. So thank you, sir. Let us inform the participant to clarify any doubts if they have.
Sure.
Dear participants, kindly unmute your mic and post your questions to the expert if you have any.
Yeah.
Both Sagar sir and Professor Mamilla sir, thank you much. Nice. I am Bhupati from Sakhi Polytechnic College. Your presentation was excellent. You are crystal clear. You provoked our minds so that we can also be involved in research in both as applied as well as in fundamental research. Sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We had a wonderful session. Sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir. Bhupati sir, thank you, sir. Any other participant, if you have any specific query to be clarified with the expert, kindly unmute your mic and you can post your questions to the expert. Sir is available for taking up your questions, if any. Thank you, sir. It seems they are more satisfied with your detailed presentations. We can see from the chat boxes that your presentation is very informative. And if you have any query, I will let you know, sir. I will get the queries and let you know, sir.
Definitely, Professor. I showed the last that societal research.
Yes, sir.
So I request all the people to think in the direction so that if you can help one poor person of this country, because I know what is poverty, because when I started my second class or third class, my father is unable to give me food, so I was depending on my relatives. None of them gave me food, so I was in a government hostel. So I know the pittiness and other things. So if you can help any one poor person of this country by putting your hand on your heart, so that is most important actually. So you will get, say, don't think about the recognition or something, but the blessings of the poor people of this country will make you more than anything.
Okay.
So because the poor person will bless from the bottom of the heart, if he is really helping your research team. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all. I hope you might have got something about something that inspires you. And I'm pedagogically, I'm telling no. So if my lecture is thought-provoking for you in terms of pedagogy, I'm very grateful.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. It will be a great inspiration and motivation, sir, for those who are not yet to decide taking up the research work. And particularly, you are motivating for going for a socially oriented research. Even in our diploma institution, we insist our students to doing their project, which is in any way, in some way, it will useful for some section of underprivileged and in general, so it must be a useful product to the common people, common society. Like that, we are trying to get the students' knowledge in the project they are doing. But when you're talking about research level, definitely there will be a lot of scope for the faculty to, and as well as the students to think on that. Most probably, the Smart India Hackathon is getting problems from common people also. And students are doing their projects and submitting for that hackathon. In other way, it will help the common people for their daily routine problems. So in the research area, when we are selecting topic, we must think the economical and societal problems also. It's a very good point we learned from you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. In spite of your busy schedule, you spared your time, and we take the privilege of contacting you at any FDP whenever we have a chance to organizing. We really interested to meet you, and you are very much accepting our invitation without any hesitation. We must thank you.
I know only too few people of this country, because I am not. I was in Guwahati previously, so they know me very well in the Northeast. But I recently came here, so I know very stipulated people. So if they ask if I am not going to accept, then whom am I have to access? One of them is you. So this is, I think, second time I am coming to virtually to you. Yeah. So
thank you very much, sir.
Definitely, and if some people want to come once this pandemic is over, you are most welcome to our laboratories to see the facilities and other things. But not in this pandemic. Effectively after the summer.
Yes, sir.
After 6 months or something.
Yes, sir.
So I'm also looking for some of the good students to join us for summer internship and other things. So if you have students, they can approach me through you, or they can also approach. That's not problem. But make sure that the students are good and hardworking.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Definitely, we will plan for a visit to your lab, sir, because we are very near to your IIT Tirupati. Definitely, at least our faculty will be visiting your lab, sir, with your after getting your prior permission and all. We will try to visit your lab, sir. Thank you for the invitation, sir.
Thank you all, and namaste to all the people. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.